The corporate office building
Will I
gleamed
be
with
okay?
glass and
We're
steel,
doing everything we
40
can.
stories
You'll
of
be fine.
success and ambition. On the 38th floor, the conference room held 5 people who would decide Jennifer Morrison's fate. At 34, Jennifer had worked at Harman Industries for 9 years, climbing from junior analyst to senior project manager. She was good at her job, really good. But 3 months ago she'd made a mistake, a costly one. A vendor contract she'd approved contained an error that cost the company $400,000. Now she sat across from Marcus Chen, the new CEO who'd taken over 2 months ago. He was 41, brought in to cut costs and increase efficiency, which usually meant cutting people. Beside Marcus sat 2 HR representatives and 2 board members, the firing squad. "Ms. Morrison," Marcus began, opening a folder. "We've completed our review of the vendor contract incident from October. The error resulted in a $400,000 loss to the company." Jennifer's hands trembled in her lap. She'd been expecting this meeting for weeks. Single mother to a 7-year-old son, mortgage, medical bills from her son's asthma treatments. Losing this job would destroy everything she'd built. "I know," Jennifer said quietly. "I take full responsibility. I should have caught the error before signing. There's no excuse." Marcus looked at her steadily. "You've been with the company 9 years. Your performance reviews are excellent. This is your first major mistake. Can you explain what happened?" Jennifer took a shaky breath. "My son was in the hospital that week. Severe asthma attack. I was working from the hospital room, distracted, not sleeping. When the contract came through, I reviewed it, but not carefully enough. I missed the decimal point error in the payment terms. Why didn't you tell anyone you were dealing with a family emergency?" one of the board members asked. "Because I was already on thin ice," Jennifer admitted. "I'd taken 3 sick days the month before when my son had pneumonia. I'd heard rumors about layoffs. I was scared if I showed any more weakness I'd be first on the list. So I tried to handle everything and I failed." Marcus was quiet for a moment. "Ms. Morrison, you're right that this error was serious. $400,000 is significant." Jennifer felt her heart sink. Here it came. "Please," she said, her voice breaking, "just make it fast. I know you're going to fire me. I've already been looking for new jobs. I just need to know so I can plan. My son depends on me. I need to figure out health insurance and—" "Miss Morrison," Marcus interrupted gently, "I'm not firing you." Jennifer stopped mid-sentence. "What?" "I'm not firing you. In fact, I'm implementing new policies because of what happened to you. First, mandatory backup review for all contracts over $100,000. No single person should bear sole responsibility for catching errors of that magnitude. That's a systems failure, not just a personal one." He pulled out another document. "Second, I'm creating an emergency family leave policy. When employees have sick family members, they report it to HR and we redistribute their critical work temporarily. No one should feel they have to work through a crisis and risk making mistakes." Jennifer stared at him. "I don't understand. I cost the company $400,000. You made a mistake while under extreme stress, working in impossible circumstances that you felt you couldn't report, because our culture punished vulnerability," Marcus said. "That's a failure of leadership, not just your error." One of the board members spoke up. "Chen, we discussed this. The cost of replacing Jennifer would be higher," Marcus said firmly. "Recruiting, training a replacement, lost institutional knowledge, decreased team morale when they see we fire people for honest mistakes during personal crises. That easily exceeds $400,000. Plus, Jennifer's work over 9 years has generated far more value than one mistake cost us." He looked back at Jennifer. "You're not fired, but you are required to take 1 week of paid leave immediately. Your son needs you. You need rest. When you return, we'll implement the new review systems and you'll train your team on the new protocols." Jennifer felt tears streaming down her face. "Why are you doing this? Every other CEO would fire me." "Because I was you once," Marcus said quietly. 8 years ago, I was a project manager at a different company. My daughter was sick. I made a mistake that cost my employer $200,000. They fired me without hesitation. It took me a year to find another job. My family almost lost our home. My daughter's health suffered because we lost insurance for 3 months. He closed the folder. I rebuilt my career, worked my way up, and I promised myself that if I ever had power, I'd create workplaces where people weren't punished for being human, for having families, for having lives outside work. I'm going to do everything to make you trust me, Jennifer said. I won't let you down. I know you won't. Take your week off. Be with your son. Come back rested. We'll move forward together. After Jennifer left, one of the board members confronted Marcus. That was a mistake. You're setting a precedent that errors don't have consequences. I'm setting a precedent that we support people through difficult times instead of discarding them, Marcus corrected. Jennifer Morrison is an excellent employee who made one mistake under extraordinary circumstances. We're going to keep her, implement better systems, and have a more loyal, productive team as a result. And if other employees make costly mistakes, we'll evaluate each situation on its merits, Marcus said. But in general, I'd rather fix our systems and support our people than constantly fire and replace them. It's better business and it's the right thing to do. 3 months later, Jennifer returned to work with new systems in place. The backup review process caught 2 more contract errors. In other departments, errors that would have cost the company over $600,000. Jennifer's mistake had revealed a systemic problem that Marcus fixed company-wide. 1 year later, Jennifer was promoted to Director of Operations. Her new job was implementing employee support programs across the company, emergency family leave, mental health resources, workload management systems. At the promotion announcement, Marcus spoke to the entire company. Jennifer Morrison made a mistake that cost us money, but she also helped us discover that our systems put too much pressure on individuals and didn't support them through personal crises. Because we chose to fix systems instead of blame people, we're now a stronger company with better processes and higher employee retention. He looked at Jennifer. Thank you for having the courage to be honest about your circumstances. Your vulnerability made this company better. 5 years later, Harman Industries had the lowest turnover rate in their industry. Employee satisfaction was the highest it had been in company history. Productivity was up 23%, and Marcus's leadership approach had been featured in 3 business journals as a model for sustainable, human-centered management. Jennifer, now VP of Operations, spoke at a women's leadership conference about that day in the conference room. I walked in expecting to be fired, she told the audience. I was ready to lose everything because I'd made a mistake while my son was in the hospital. Instead, I found a leader who saw the humanity in the situation, who chose to fix systems instead of blame people. That choice changed my life and changed our entire company culture. What would you say to leaders who think that approach is too soft? Someone asked. I'd show them our numbers, Jennifer said. Lower turnover, higher productivity, better quality work, more innovation. Supporting people through difficulties isn't soft, it's smart business, and it's what creates loyalty that you can't buy. If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe for more stories about leadership that values humanity. Comment about a time someone gave you grace when you expected judgment. Your story might inspire a leader to choose compassion today.